From the moment you wake up, you're told what success looks like. Get the degree, climb the ladder, buy the house, accumulate the things. Society whispers in your ear that happiness is just one promotion away, one purchase away, one achievement away. But what if I told you that everything you've been taught about the good life is a carefully constructed lie? What if the very foundation of modern civilization is built on a deception so profound that it has turned us into slaves to our own ambitions? I have watched as humanity traded its natural freedom for golden chains. Not by force, but by seduction. We surrendered who we truly were in exchange for the illusion of progress. We were promised civilization, but what we received was conformity. Promised enlightenment, but given obedience. I have witnessed the rise of institutions you now worship without question. Your schools, your governments, your markets. I saw them not as engines of human greatness, but as factories of uniformity. Each one designed to strip away your instincts, your independence, and your power to think freely. They told you how to live, what to want, who to become. And so you chased careers you didn't choose, adopted values you never questioned, and measured your worth in things that have nothing to do with your soul. They taught you to fear judgment more than dishonor, to seek approval more than truth, to chase success even if it means losing yourself. And that is the great deception, because the life you're chasing was never really yours. But here's the truth they don't want you to hear. You were not born to fit in. You were born to be free. Once you see the strings that control your thoughts, your choices, your desires, you can't unsee them. And once you break them, you don't return to sleep. Not everyone will make it to that freedom. But if you're still watching, maybe you will. Now, before we continue, take a second to hit the subscribe button. This means you're ready to challenge the lies and reclaim your mind. The brainwashing began before you could even speak. From your earliest moments, you were immersed in a world that had already decided what your life should look like. You were handed dreams that weren't yours. You were taught that your worth doesn't come from your being, your presence, your thoughts, but from your performance. What you achieve, how much you produce, how obediently you fit the mold. Your parents, who loved you, passed this on not out of cruelty, but because they too were conditioned. Their love was filtered through expectations, high grades, polite behavior, ambitious goals. They told you to chase success, but they never stopped to ask whose definition of success they were handing down. It's not their fault. They were just following the blueprint handed to them. But stop for a moment and ask yourself, who wrote that blueprint? Because what we call civilization, this hyper-organized, hyper-competitive world we live in, is not the glorious triumph of human progress. It is in many ways our greatest mistake. In studying tribal and indigenous societies, groups that existed for tens of thousands of years before the modern industrial world, anthropologists discovered something we've lost: genuine contentment. These societies had no billionaires, no luxury brands, no resumes to build, and yet their members experienced significantly lower rates of anxiety, depression, and existential dread. They lived in connection with their community, with nature, and with themselves. Then something changed, and that change changed everything. The moment one human said, "This is mine," and another wasn't allowed to share it, inequality was born. And with inequality came the need for systems, to protect the powerful, to manage the weak, to maintain the illusion of order. Governments, laws, class structures, organized religion, educational institutions, all tools to keep the machine running. But here's what they never told you. These are not natural developments of society. They are constructs, artificial inventions that serve a specific purpose, to preserve and reinforce the advantages of those who got to the top first. And what do these systems need to survive? Compliant citizens. That's where your school comes in. You didn't go to school to be enlightened. You went to school to be trained, like a worker bee. Every lesson, Every standardized test, every college application was one small part of a larger system designed to make you accept your place. You were rewarded for obedience, not insight, for memorizing, not questioning. You weren't taught to think deeply. You were taught to compete. Compete for what? For a seat at the table you never asked to be invited to. You were taught that some people are naturally better, that inequality is just the way of the world, that if you work hard, keep your head down, and follow the rules, you'll eventually be successful. But here's the secret they kept from you. The game was rigged from the start. The modern world feeds you one powerful lie, that happiness is out there, waiting to be earned. You chase money because you're told it buys security. You chase status because it brings admiration. You chase achievements because they supposedly prove your value. But I've seen the end of that road. I've watched the wealthiest men die bitter, hollow, and alone. I've witnessed the most successful entrepreneurs, influencers, CEOs, people who won the game, become prisoners of their own image, living in constant fear of falling behind, always running, never arriving, because the system is not designed to satisfy you. It's designed to keep you hungry. Every promotion, every new car, every milestone keeps the illusion alive that fulfillment is just around the corner. But every step up their ladder takes you further from your authentic self. You lose touch with your creativity, your joy, your intuition, sacrifice on the altar of achievement. And here's the most sinister part. You become complicit. Not only do you accept the system, you defend it, you justify it. You encourage others to climb the same ladder that's slowly crushing your spirit. And when the joy doesn't come, when the success feels hollow, you blame yourself. You think you're not working hard enough, not talented enough, not worthy enough. But maybe it's not you. Maybe it's the system that's broken. Maybe the very idea of success as sold us is a lie, a trap designed to keep us moving but never arriving. What if you've been chasing someone else's dream? What if everything you were taught about the good life was built not to liberate you, but to tame you? The truth is, you are more than a worker, more than a consumer, more than a resume. You are a thinker, a dreamer, a creator, a human being with depth, emotion, and power that cannot be measured by metrics or salaries or social media likes. The system cannot handle people who see clearly. That's why it keeps you distracted with entertainment, with outrage, with trends, with empty goals. It doesn't want you still. It doesn't want you silent. Because in the silence, the truth starts to whisper. You were not born to serve this machine. You were born to be free, to think freely, to feel deeply, to live intentionally. We were happier before, not marginally, not nostalgically, profoundly happier, before the skyscrapers, the social media apps, the late-night grind culture. We lived lives that were more in tune with who we are as human beings. And no, this isn't some romantic fantasy about cave people dancing under the stars. It's based on documented anthropological records, psychological studies, and first-hand accounts from pre-industrial societies. Mental illness was rare. Depression, anxiety, existential dread, virtually non-existent. People didn't wake up questioning their self-worth or go to bed feeling like failures for not meeting an arbitrary productivity quota. They didn't need therapy to survive the day. They had something we've lost: authenticity, real connection, genuine peace of mind, a clear purpose rooted in community, not competition. They hunted, gathered, built, shared, laughed. They lived in harmony with their environment instead of endlessly trying to dominate it. There were no Fortune 500s, no influencers, no status anxiety. No one was ranking their lives based on followers or net worth, and they were better off for it. But here's the dangerous part, the part no one wants you to know. The reason you've never heard this truth, The reason it sounds almost unbelievable is because this idea threatens everything the modern system is built on. If people realize they've been sold a lie, the entire machinery of modern society, from advertising to education to corporate hierarchies, would begin to unravel. That's why this truth is buried under layers of distraction, under endless scrolling and shopping and self-help noise. This life, this scripted chase, wasn't designed with your well-being in mind. It was designed to keep you striving, spending, and staying in line. It's a treadmill dressed up as a treasure hunt. Every milestone feels empty because it's not your path. It's the one society laid out for you, and it's perfectly calibrated to keep you unsatisfied. And that dissatisfaction, that gnawing anxiety on Sunday nights, that quiet, creeping sadness even after a big win, it's not a personal failing. It's your soul whispering, this isn't it. The moment you realize that your restlessness, your emptiness, your stress are natural responses to an unnatural life, everything changes. You're not broken. You're not lazy. You're not ungrateful. You're awake. You're beginning to recognize that the system, for all its shiny promises, is rigged. It needs you to feel inadequate so it can sell you solutions. It needs you to fear being irrelevant so it can keep you grinding. It needs your quiet desperation because without it, the machine stops moving. And here's the revolutionary truth. You have a choice. You can step off the treadmill. You can start measuring your life by your own standards, not the ones forced on you since childhood. That doesn't mean becoming a hermit or rejecting all of modern life. It means being conscious about what truly serves you, what nourishes your mind, what strengthens your relationships, what brings peace to your soul. Because here's the thing, true success has nothing to do with wealth, status, or accolades. It's living in alignment with your authentic self. This path back to yourself isn't easy. In fact, it's terrifying at first because you've been programmed to fear it. You've been taught that without external validation, you're nobody. That if you're not moving up, you're falling behind. That if you don't have the latest things, you're missing out. But the people who benefit from this thinking, they don't care if you're happy. They care if you're compliant. Let me tell you something few will dare say. I've lived both lives. The life of praise, reputation, and intellectual status, and the life of simplicity, connection, and quiet truth. And I can say without hesitation that the life the system celebrates is a hollow imitation of real joy. All the praise in the world can't replace the calm of knowing who you are and living in alignment with it. The joy you seek is not in the next promotion or the next gadget or the next milestone. It's in remembering who you were before they told you who you should be. So what does this mean for your life right now? It means you have permission to question everything. Question whether your career actually brings you joy or just pays the bills and slowly drains your spirit. Question whether your possessions truly add value to your life or just clutter your space and numb your soul. Question whether your relationships are built on genuine connection or just social obligation and routine. Question whether your dreams are truly your dreams or were handed to you by a culture addicted to consumption, distraction, and validation. Because here's the truth. The brainwashing only works if you remain unconscious of it. The moment you begin to see it clearly, you reclaim the power to choose differently. Start small. Go for a walk in nature. With no phone, no headphones, no agenda. Have conversations about ideas, beauty, fear, purpose. Anything deeper than gossip or surface-level wins. Create something. Not to impress, not to monetize, just to feel alive. Choose experiences over possessions. Choose presence over performance. Choose connection over comparison. These aren't minor lifestyle tweaks. These are acts of rebellion. In a world that wants you chasing shiny distractions, choosing authenticity is radical. Every time you say no to artificial success, you're saying yes to your real self. Every moment you define your own worth. You are dismantling a system that profits from your doubt. Because the truth is, you've never been broken. The system is broken. You've never been lacking. The system is lacking. You are not insufficient. The system is insufficient. Your natural state is one of contentment, creativity, and connection. Everything that takes you away from that is a lie. Everything that brings you back to it is truth. The choice has always been yours. The only question now is, are you ready to stop chasing their version of success and finally start living your own version of a meaningful life? Because once you see through the illusion, once you wake up to how deeply you've been sold a false dream, there's no going back. And that's exactly where your real life begins. If this message hit home, make sure to like the video. It helps this reach more people who need to hear it. Subscribe for daily mind-shifting content that challenges the noise and reconnects you to what actually matters. And in the comments, let me know, what's one belief about success you're now ready to question? Share this with someone who's ready to stop surviving and start truly living.